Welcome into episode 164 of The Checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac. I'm Ken Ray.
And I'm Augustrometer.
The holidays are upon us. You know what that means. Family, food, and digital security. On this week's checklist, an actual checklist of things to do as you head out this holiday season. Over the river and through the woods, it's Checklist 164, brought to you by Secure Mac. Are you traveling for Thanksgiving this year? If you are far from alone. The Chicago Tribune ran a piece last week that had the Transportation Security Administration expecting to screen more than 26.8 million passengers and airline crew members between Friday, the 22nd of November, and Monday, the 2nd of December. That would be a 4% increase over last year, according to the report. And that's just people flying. This week, the checklist is doing, wait for it, a checklist. There's so much stuff. I know it's been a while. There is so much stuff that you'll want to do to keep your digital life safe. A lot of it is stuff that we've talked about before. Hey, maybe you're already doing a lot of it. Or maybe you kept thinking, man, I need to do that. Seriously, now is the time. You're going to have a lot on your plate and a lot on your plate getting to that plate. And so today's checklist is divided into 3 parts: before you go, on the way, and while you're there. Before you go. This is something we say all the time, August. We're going to start with update everything. Now, when we say update everything, what do we mean?
We mean update all the things. You know, every time I leave on a trip, I check to see if updates are available for any of my devices. Not only does this allow me to download and install those updates over my own network, I get to make sure it's installed properly. So instead of it, happening on a flight over their Wi-Fi, it's over my own. And all of this includes OSs, but it also includes apps that you use. And these updates are sometimes minor, but sometimes they patch pretty big bugs. So you can travel with a lot more mental comfort that all of your devices are safe and up to date. And honestly, this is probably a good time to mention turning on auto updates. So you don't even need to think about doing the updates manually. They just happen.
Heathen. Next item on the list. It's, this is an age-old debate. Well, as old as me and August talking about this kind of thing. Next item on the list. Activate anti-theft technology.
First of all, here's my own checklist of every time I get a new device. Number 1, auto updates. I turn them on.
Heard it.
If it's an Apple device, make sure to turn on the Find My functionality in your settings. This will allow you to look for the device if it's stolen or lost, and even if it's offline. Make sure to use a long passcode and, if possible, Face or Touch ID. These are good steps for anyone, but it's really something to double check if you're traveling. That shiny new iPhone is a huge target for thieves, and you don't want anyone getting the data that's on it.
Now, the next item on our list, activate two-factor authentication. And we've talked about this one a lot. For anybody who has not done this yet, is there a reason that traveling makes doing this more important?
I really think it's especially important because you're traveling, because so many things can go wrong. There are so many scenarios that you find yourself in that you just don't normally do. You're on networks that you don't ever use. You've got people around you that you never know who they are. So yes, it's very, very important, especially when traveling.
Now, there's always the chance that somebody new is listening to the show today. First off, hi, if that's you. And second, for people who haven't heard, could you please, August, give people a quick refresher on what 2FA is and why it's important?
Sure. Two-factor authentication is a second layer of security beyond your username and password. Typically, it's either a text message sent to your device with a code, or it could be something that you have to use a third-party app for, such as Google Authenticator, to be able to log in. If a website you use doesn't offer two-factor authentication, email them requesting it. If they do, then good for them. Just turn it on, and you can usually do that in the website's account or settings area. But as you're traveling, just remember somebody could be listening to your traffic over Wi-Fi or simply looking over your shoulder to watch you type in a password. With two-factor authentication, even if they see your password, they'd still need that second factor to log in, and without your phone, they won't get that.
And for people who want to know more about two-factor authentication, August and I actually did a full show about that back on checklist 139. 2FA 101 is what that episode was called. So if you're saying two-factor authentication, is it really for me? Checklist 139. Well, that's the short answer, but checklist 139, 2FA 101 will tell you a lot more. Now, here's the thing, August. I'm on my way out the door. I'm on my way down the road. I've got a lot to do before I get going.
You're a busy guy.
Well, we all are, because it's the holidays and we're traveling. Do I need to activate 2FA for everything right now?
My gut response is to say yes. But I do understand that we're all busy. So pick the services you're going to be using, especially those that you're going to be using while you travel, and at least enable two-factor for those. So if you're a big Facebooker or Instagram or whatever, make sure to turn it on there. You can add more services over time, but the sooner you get all of that set up for all of your services, the safer that you are.
I remember the last thing we're going to do before we hit the road or take to the skies or, travel how we're going to travel, get a password manager.
We all used to have the same login and password for every single site. And I'm not innocent. At one point, I did that myself. And 15 years ago, that was good enough. But time changes and technology changes too. And you just can't do that anymore. You need to use a strong, unique password for every single site you log into. And that means that after a while, you won't remember what password goes where. That's why it's so important to use a password manager. The password manager will help create those strong, unique passwords, and then it will remember them for you so that you don't have to. As far as I'm concerned, a password manager is indispensable.
And similar to the question I asked earlier, do I have to for everything now when it came to 2FA? Do I have to for everything now for the password manager?
Yes. But I do understand it takes time. So start with your most used sites and work your way down the list.
Well, we did it. We're finally out of the freaking house, and only a few hours past schedule. On my flight, let's say, or maybe in the passenger seat of the old Canyon Arrow, I've just chewed through all the battery on my phone. Now, there's a word of warning on our checklist here. Avoid strange outlets. I'm reminded actually of the REM song Strange Currencies, but this is not that. Why do I need to avoid strange outlets?
Whenever you're walking through an airport or a hotel and see a charge here sign for your phone, I say run away. Many times those act as data links to your phone. Now, some may be innocent, but you can't know which ones are and which ones aren't. Instead, make sure you bring your own cable and plug it into just a regular wall outlet. And that will make sure that you don't get your data sucked from your phone.
Right. Really, really quickly, because what we're talking about, it's not just like, well, I don't know what that power outlet does. A power outlet is a power outlet. What we're talking about is like the thing where you plug one end of a USB and the other end of the lightning, right? So you're plugging in basically a data cable into who knows what, giving up what kind of information you don't know.
Exactly.
All right.
Recently I had to travel and I realized I left my charging cable at home. So I ended up going to an airport tech store and buying an Apple branded cable and the little power dongle. It was a couple bucks more expensive than at the Apple store, but at least I knew I could trust it. And then I just walked over to a regular outlet, plugged it in, and charged right up.
Next on our list, use a VPN. With a special hello once again to anybody listening for the first time. What is a VPN? What does it do? And just give us a really quick, explanation of what that is.
VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it encrypts everything you send over the network. And while sniffers can still see the traffic on the network, all they'll see is gibberish. In addition, a VPN doesn't give away your IP address, so no one can track you down by looking at that address. There are a lot of VPNs out there. Make sure to pick a trusted one and understand that it's going to cost a few bucks a month. If it's free, it's probably not safe. For iOS, the Secure Mac guys like Guardian Firewall and VPN.
So you're saying the Wi-Fi at the rest stop or that roadside Starbucks, that's not safe?
A rest stop's Wi-Fi is about as safe as their bathrooms. Seriously, though, Wi-Fi is always insecure. Even your own network, you have to ask questions about it. Anyone on the same network as you can see everything you're doing if they're clever enough. Even the ISP can see your traffic and what you're sending. That's why you use a VPN. And when they see gobbledygook, because you're 100% encrypted, a bad guy will move on to somebody else.
Now, I'm a paranoid sort, but we spend so much time talking about, locking down our devices digitally, it might slip our minds to lock them down physically. I mean, not in a box or a case, but, making sure that people who shouldn't get into your computer, your tablet, your phone, can't get into your computer or your tablet or your phone.
These days, we're given all kinds of tools to keep us safe. So if somebody snatches your iPhone or MacBook, make sure you have a passcode set up so they can't just open it up and grab all your data. If you have access to Face ID or Touch ID and you don't already have that turned on, shame on you. Really, those are super easy to set up, and it adds a huge barrier between the bad guy and your data. Finally, make sure to have Find My turned on in all of your devices. So if it does get swiped, you can track it down and see where it is. One word of caution, though, unless you're Captain America, don't go barging in to a weird address to grab your device on your own. Call the police and let them handle it.
We are covering a lot today about what you should do to keep yourself safe when you travel. Here's something else for you and your family, and all those people you'll see next week with Macs to do. Download and try MacScan 3 from Secure Mac. MacScan 3 is a great defense against malicious software attacks aimed at your Mac. MacScan 3 detects and removes Mac malware, catches keyloggers, removes tracking cookies, and provides full range or targeted scanning, all without crowding up your hard drive or slowing down your computer. And Secure Mac is a company you can trust. They've been in computer security and been developing exceptional security software for over 20 years. Tell mom and dad, friends and other family, let the Mac users in your life know about MacScan 3 from Secure Mac. There's a free 30-day trial for everyone at securemac.com/MacScan. That's MacScan 3 by Secure Mac. 30-day trials are waiting at securemac.com/MacScan. Because you can't be looking over their shoulders all the time, August. As much as you want to be at your crazy uncle's house year-round taking care of his computer stuff, MaxScan 3 does that for you, so you only have to come by at Thanksgiving and you're done.
Exactly.
Hey, good news. We have arrived. Time to kick off our shoes, start drinking, and talking politics.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really, these are the days for which we live. Also, there are still digital things to do, like, seriously, I have to keep using a VPN. August, I'm at my Nana's house. Why do I have to use a VPN at Nana's house?
Seriously, dude, how much does your Nana know about security?
Yeah.
There's no way to tell if her network is secure. Home networks are easily hackable, especially in heavily populated areas or apartment complexes. You go there once a year. Sure, you trust Nana, but why should you trust her network? A great rule of thumb is if you set the network up yourself, you can probably trust it a lot more than if you didn't. At my folks' house, every time I visit, I do a routine check on their network. They don't live in an area where you'd expect problems, but you never know. And honestly, I'm more worried about them than me because I'll always have a VPN running.
Now, for people who aren't at a family member's house, you need a VPN for the same reasons that we talked about while traveling.
You know, hotels and Airbnbs terrify me. Hotels because you never know who else is on the network and listening, and Airbnbs because those owners do everything they can to make a profit. So who knows where that data goes that you're transmitting. So I've got 4 pieces of advice: VPN, 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 VPN.
And one more bit of advice: set up fast sleep and password prompts. What does that mean? And why is it important?
Well, now we're getting dirty, aren't we? Because you're saying you can't trust your own relatives. And the thing is, it's true. You know, if you're in a house with a lot of family, who knows what motives they might have to pop open your computer and take a peek. Kids, for example, might try and see what you bought on Amazon so they know what they're getting for Christmas. It's innocent, but it kind of spoils the fun. So make sure to change the settings on your devices so they sleep or pop into screensaver mode within a couple of minutes of inactivity. Yes, you'll have to re-enter your password or use your BIOS scan to log back in. And yes, sometimes that's a pain. But do you really want little Ralphie knowing that his Red Ryder BB gun is on its way?
Man, you're old. Now, here is something that we would actually both appreciate, and something you may want to do for you as well. Share what you know and share this show.
You know, Mr. Rogers once said, real strength has to do with helping others. And if you listen to the show, if you've taken these steps, you're more secure than probably, 99% of computer users out there. This also means you have some pretty serious knowledge that others can benefit from. So this holiday, impress your friends by showing them how a VPN works and why to use one. Show your parents how easy it is to use a password manager and why they need one. No matter how advanced technology becomes, it can't do it all. You're the final hurdle between a hacker and your data. So share your strength with your friends, your family, and even strangers. It makes us all stronger, and it protects us all better. And honestly, that's why we do this show every week.
Hey, special thanks, by the way, to Nick Ruiz for compiling this list. You know, he's another Nicholas August who works for Secure Mac. I don't know how you and I got this gig.
Yeah, I'm starting to think the only way to work for Secure Mac is to be named Nicholas.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Maybe for the holidays, just for the Christmas show. If we do the special again this year, we'll change it. It'll be a St. Nicholas show with Nick.
All three St. Nicks.
Yep, and Nick, and then Nick, and then maybe Nick if we can get him. But you know that guy's busy. Hey, if you're looking for more security news and how-tos, the place to look is securemac.com/checklist. There you'll find notes for this show, for the last show, for the next show, for all the shows that we've done or will do. Don't forget episode 139, I believe it was, the 2FA 101. Look, this is an easy way actually to share information with people, just like August was talking about a moment ago, because not only are all the notes there, but people can actually listen to every show that we've done there as well. So before things get out of control...
Before the drinking and the politics.
Exactly. securemac.com/checklist. If you have a question you would like to ask or a topic you'd like to hear us hit, our email address is checklist@securemac.com. The address again is checklist@securemac.com. And if you can't remember that, please do remember this. You're listening to The Checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac. And we'll talk to you next week.